For young Kamos, the death of his father at the hands of the Hyksos must have been humiliating as well as tragic.
In the ideology of the Egyptians, the foreigner is the inherent enemy, the inherent inferior, over whom the Egyptians have been given divine power by the deities.
They are described as that vile foe, people who are beyond the pale. Foreigners are dirt under the feet of the pharaoh.
Images of foreigners were carved on footstools like this, so Egyptians could show their superiority by literally trampling on them. Nubians, Libyans, Asiatics were depicted as ugly, as savages, not worthy of placing a foot on Egyptian sand. But now northern Egypt, and even the pyramids, stood on land governed by foreigners.
This was the worst thing to the mind of the Egyptian. The pyramid to Ahmos, to Amosi and Kamos was a kind of a reminder. Tell them we need the glory of Egypt to come back. And this gave them the power to unite, to defeat those strange people and dismiss them away from Egypt.
With his father dead, his land divided, Kamos was determined to defeat the Hyksos. His actual words have survived, carved on this large stone, a stela. Kamos bluntly states his intention to destroy the enemies to the north and south of Egypt.
What power can I claim to have when I'm stuck between an Asiatic and a Nubian? Each of them has a piece of Egypt too, and shares the land with me. My aim is to liberate Egypt and crush the Asiatics.
But Kamos could not fight alone. He had to get his people behind him first. And as the stela records, most Thebans did not object to living in a divided Egypt.
We're satisfied with our share of Egypt. The best fields are ours to cultivate. Grain is still being sent to our swine, and our herds have never been seized.
Not everyone would have been upset with the Hyksos rule. I'm sure times were good for lots of Egyptians under the Hyksos rulers. What then would rally the forces? What would get people going?
The Hyksos soon gave the people of Egypt good reason to be alarmed. On a remote desert road, far from Thebes, Hyksos messengers raced south on a secret mission.
Hyksos messengers were carrying this letter, which must have been a rolled up piece of papyrus with a mud seal on it. And they were going through the desert, probably at high speeds. And Kamos's spies must have intercepted these messengers.
Kamos's men had captured a messenger from the Hyksos king. The letter he was carrying was addressed to Egypt's other enemy, the king of Nubia. It was an invitation to unite and conquer what was left of Egypt.
Come north. There is no need to worry. Kamose is busy with me here. We'll divide the towns of Egypt between us, and Nubia will rejoice.
The Hyksos were inviting the Nubians to join them in a plot to converge on Egypt and destroy Kamos.
We can think perhaps of the United States. It would really be as if Canada and Mexico were pressing against the U.S. and actually managing or talking about invading.
Kamos knew it was time to fight.
The Hyksos were certainly not backward people. They come from the area of the Levant where the towns are fortified towns, where the weapons of war are, if anything, more advanced than the weapons of the Egyptians. These are fighting people.
Akhmos, still only a young boy, watched from the sidelines as his brother Kamos prepared his army for the fight.
Kamose and his brother Ahmose would become the liberators, the freedom fighters. They would become the initiators of the greatest period of Egyptian history.
20-year-old Kamos set off leading his troops north into Hyksos territory.
My mighty army went before me like a blast of fire.
Kamos and his army soon came across a fortified Hyksos town. Kamos was now face to face with his foe.
When the next day dawned, I swooped down on him like a falcon. By breakfast time, I had already defeated him. I demolished his defenses, killed his men.